As you know from parts 1 and 2, this is the main area in Denmark where my family originated. Fredericia and the surrounding areas to the north and west. This is my great-grandfather on my mother's side, Claus Jensen, who was born here and lived much of his life in this area. In parts 1 and 2 I showed you my connections to a number of villages and towns in the area. And in this part I will talk about the city of Fredericia. This chart shows Claus highlighted on the left with all of his ancestors to the right. Here I've highlighted Klaus's mother, Ingeborg Hansdotter, my great-great-grandmother. Ingeborg was born near Jelling to the north of Fredericia, and her ancestors come from there and from Skanderborg, even further to the north. But the area around Fredericia is about Claus and his paternal ancestry. Here I've highlighted Klaus's father, Jens. In part 2 we followed Jens's maternal line, that of his mother Gertrude Jensdotter. Her parents were Jens Muller and Karen Sorensdotter. As you may remember, Jens Muller, my fourth great-grandfather, was a fisherman on Vejle Fjord at least as far back as 1787. So we start with Jens Larsen, my second great-grandfather, but instead of following his mother's line this time, we will look at Jens's father, Lars Clausen, my third great-grandfather, and his parents. Lars was born in Fredericia. Here is the 1784 record of Lars's christening at St. Michaelis Church in Fredericia. His is the last entry on the page. I put an English translation above it. You can see the names of his parents and the date. My history with Fredericia through the paternal line goes back hundreds of years. Here is a transcription and translation of a census record for Fredericia from 1787 showing the family living on Norway Street. Lars is shown here as a 2-year-old child living with his parents. Life must have been hard because Lars's father, Claus Larsen, my fourth great-grandfather, is listed as being a day laborer and a beggar. Here you see that St. Michaelis Church, where Lars was christened, is located along Norway Street where the family was living. By 1801, 14 years later, the family had moved to a different part of town. Here is the 1801 Fredericia census record. The older children, including Lars, are no longer living at home. There are 3 young children, however, brothers and a sister of Lars. The city of Fredericia was only about 130 years old in 1787. I don't really know, but maybe my family was there from the beginning. My cousin Eep and I visited Trinitatis Church in Fredericia. This church is part of our more recent family history. In fact, Eep himself attended this church as a young man. That is Eep walking next to the church. This chart shows my great-grandfather Claus, circled and highlighted in yellow, along with his siblings and their spouses. Here I have circled Klaus's younger brother Jens. Our visit to Trinitatis Church is about Jens and his descendants. Jens Jensen was my great-granduncle. He is buried in the churchyard with his wife Caroline. Jens and Caroline are Eep's grandparents. Here are Jens and Caroline with all of their children on their 50th wedding anniversary in 1939. Jens worked at Trinitatis Church and his son Valdemar followed in his footsteps. Anna was one of the daughters of Jens and Caroline, and Georg was her husband. These are Eep's parents. Ilse was the daughter of Anna and Georg. This 1925 census record shows Anna and Georg. I added an English translation below the Danish entry. Ype had not yet been born in 1925. Here is Ilsa living in Fredericia. Here is Fritz's gravestone at Trinitatis Church. And here he is in the census of 1925. Now inside the church.
Words from the Holy Book. Let the small children come to me. It's from the 19th. My head down there. Oh, it's a few drops. There's the 12 of Jesus' disciples. 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 11. Maybe Judas are not with him. We should learn all these Jesus disciples, apostles, their names, and I can't remember. Then I might learn their names till next time.
So if you have an examination, you will be able to pass.
Ære være Gud i det højeste. Honored be God in the highest.